Hello class, today we're going to define the atomic number, mass number, isotope, and ion. We're also going to identify protons, neutrons, electrons, atomic number, mass number, and charge. Homework is to be determined at this point. We will discuss in class. So let's start with some vocabulary. First off, all of these things should be a review, but we have our atomic number. Atomic number is the number of protons. Each element has its own unique atomic number. When we look on the periodic table, this is the number we're going to use to figure out which element it is. We also have our mass number, the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. Now it's important to note that the mass number is different from the atomic mass. Now, the atomic mass, when I say atomic mass, I'm talking about the average atomic mass, which is a weighted average of all of the different isotopes that we have. The average atomic mass is what you see on your periodic table. That is why it has decimals. The mass number is just protons plus neutrons. It is always a whole number. Speaking of isotopes, we have isotopes, which are atoms with the same number of protons, but a different number of neutrons. Since they have the same number of neutrons, we can infer that they're all the same element, just with different masses. So, quick question, hopefully you remember, but in a neutral atom, which subatomic particle is equal to the number of protons? Hopefully you said electrons. Yes, if it is neutral, there's a balance between the number of protons and electrons. Not to be confused with protons and neutrons. Sometimes protons and neutrons can be equal, but that's not the defining factor of a neutral atom. Okay. When we have an imbalance in protons and electrons, say the electrons are less than the protons, we have a positive charge. If the electrons are greater than the number of protons, we have a negative charge. Anytime we have a charged atom, that is called an ion. And even though this relationship is important to understand conceptually, the easier thing is just to calculate it. Protons minus electrons gives you your charge. Okay, so we also have isotope symbol notation. So here is an isotope of magnesium, Mg. When we're looking at isotope notation, the mass number is in the top left corner. The atomic number is in the bottom left corner. The charge of the element is the top right corner. Now, keep in mind that isotope notation is different from the periodic table. So I'm going to abbreviate periodic table and say PT. Different from PT. PT means periodic table. We're also going to sometimes have to write the isotope name. So we always write out the full element name, a dash, and then the mass number. So here we have magnesium, and we know its mass number is 24, so we say magnesium dash 24. Pretty straightforward. Okay. Okay, here's a quick summarizer. We're going to do these one at a time. Here's 1, 2, and 3. Please answer number 1 now. And remember to separate your answers with a comma, and please enter them in order. Okay, please answer number 2 now. Okay, please answer number 3 now. Okay, perfect. Let's go through. First thing we see is 5 electrons. That doesn't really help us at the moment, but we do see an atomic number of 5. If we look on our periodic table, we can determine that 5 is boron, and it has a mass number of 11. We know the mass number is protons plus neutrons, so we can subtract the atomic number from that to get 6 neutrons. So 11 minus 5 is 6. We also know the atomic number and the protons are equal to each other. The last thing we need to figure out is our net charge, which is protons minus electrons. 5 minus 5 is 0. This is a neutral element. Okay, next one. We're given the protons, neutrons, and electrons. So this should be pretty easy. The atomic number is the same as the protons. It should be 8. The mass number is the protons plus the neutrons. It's 16. Our charge, protons minus electrons, 8 minus 10, gives us a negative 2. And we look on our periodic table, 8 is oxygen, and this has a mass of 16. Okay. Other times we could be given the name, like with nitrogen 15, and we have to go back and look things up. Nitrogen has an atomic number of 7, therefore the protons are also 7. We're told that the mass number is 15, that's in our name. We could say 15 minus 7, which would give us our number of neutrons. That would be 8. And last but not least, the net charge. 7 minus 10 gives us a negative 3. Okay, hopefully that was pretty straightforward. If you need additional practice on identifying the parts of the atom, we can discuss in class. Have a great day.